We all are aware of tension that simmered in Telangana, Secunderabad after the idol at Muthyalamma temple was allegedly vandalized early Monday morning, triggering outrage and protest by locals. The idol was allegedly discredited. For those who don't know, this temple is dedicated to goddess Muthyalamma Devi, who is known as an incarnation of goddess Durga. Not even 1 week is over when we celebrated Navaratri, and suddenly all these are happening. But the question is, why? Why we are not able to protect our temples? Why idols are being constantly vandalized? And why nobody is taking any step? Well, the complete answer is present in the video. So just stay connected. Do you know that on an average, out of 9 lakh temples, more than 4 lakh temples are in the hands of state government? A temple is that which reflects a synthesis of arts, the ideals of dharma, beliefs, values, and the way of life cherished under Sanatan Dharma. A temple which is the link between man, deities, and the universal Purusha as a sacred space. The same temple which is the place of pilgrimage known in India as Tirtha. Same temples which are the place of the deities, the reason of Sanatani existence, are today under threat. Today they are in the hands of government, and this topic becomes more important because neither mosques nor churches are in the hands of government. So the biggest question comes is, why the government don't want to leave the temples? The story begins during the British rule, when they were involved in changing the religion of majority Indians. They passed Madras Religious and Charitable Endowment Act 1925, in which they tried to capture all the religious places of India, including mosques and churches. But due to heavy protest by minorities, that is Muslims and Christians, this draft was again redrafted, and after 2 years, draft was renamed as Madras Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Act 1927. And so, with this, the other communities got relieved and the draft was forced only to Hindu community. But despite independence in 1947, the story did not change. Government drafted HRCE Act 1951, that is Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Act 1951, and they continued the same thing that was happening in pre-independence, which gave strength to the state government to take temples in their control. Now the time has changed, and now the story needs to change. The act needs to change. There are many reasons for this, and the first and foremost reason is the Indian Constitution does not allow any government to run religious institution. Secondly, why is the act only for Hindu temples? And third reason is, no matter whichever community is there, however they run temples, mosques or churches, it's totally their matter. Government should not interfere in that. Although all over India, the state government has captured some or the other temple, but it is very much practiced largely in South India. In Andhra Pradesh alone, on an average, there is more than 34,000 temples under state governments, whereas in Tamil Nadu, it's more than 39,000. Friends, the temple is not of any state. It is not that the Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu. The fact is, the entire temples belong to devotees, and government should not interfere in that. Not only this, do you know that the daan, which is given by devotees in temple, is being taken by state government, which is also strictly prohibited under Indian Constitution, but everybody is silent. Not only this, recently we saw the prasadam of Tirupati Balaji contain fish oil and a lot more of other things. Still, we all are silent. Why? If the temples will continue to run by these temporary employees instead of devotees, these things will continue to happen. So now let's listen to Sadguru why temples should be freed from the hands of government.
The issue is, one thing is, it's a disgrace that in a secular country, that one community… I mean, if you say this in any other country, if you mention this, nobody will believe you. Nobody will believe in India, religious institutions are managed by the government. So, secular institutions means they should have no business with any religious institution. When we talk about the Hindu temples, immediately there's a whole group of people who'll say, then take over churches also, take over mosques also. I'm saying the government has no business to touch a mosque or a church or a temple or a gurdwara or anything for that matter. Right now, there is one problem, so let us multiply the problem. That is not a solution, all right? The important thing is the devotees should manage the temple, because fundamentally the Indian temples were not created as places of prayer. There is no single person leading a prayer for a group of people. It is largely different types of energy centers where people can go, soak themselves in that energy, whatever, whether you believe or not. It is true for millions and millions of people, for millennia it has been the experience of people. Whether you believe, you don't believe, that is your issue, but in terms of basic human rights, this must happen. In terms of constitutional rights as fundamental rights, this must happen. But now there's a whole lot of people arguing, their argument is generally, but it was under kings and kings are also government, so it was always under government. This is not true, because kings were devotees. Kings were very strong devotees to such a point, in many kingdoms, the deity was the king. The king was a divan or a minister for the deity. So always the deity ruled, only in the deity's name he ruled the country. So they were a different people altogether, and there also the contributions came from the people to build the temples. Above all, these are… especially the South Indian temples, the Tamil Nadu temples particularly, they are magnificent creations of engineering and architecture. If you see what they have done 1000 years ago, 1200, 1500 years ago, you will feel proud of being human, because it's absolutely incredible in terms of engineering. The mastery of engineering that they had and how they built these structures is too phenomenal. But they're all systematically being run down, all the artifacts are being stolen, they're all mostly gone, because people who have no feeling, no heart for the temple are managing the temple. And there are various aspects, economic aspects to it, that is not my interest. My interest is, fundamentally, if you want this country to move ahead, you don't discriminate between people. Everybody should have the same rights. This is the whole thing, one country, one law, all this we are talking everywhere, but it's not happening in a very fundamental way. So Tamil Nadu temples have to be released, because the tightest endowment act probably is in Tamil Nadu. In other states maybe it's a little more lax, but even that should not be there, that's a different matter. But here it's a proper control. Even if you build a new temple and if it becomes a popular temple, government will send a notification to take it over. This is just ridiculous. You can't do this in any country. I'm saying even in countries like Russia or China, you don't do these things. How can you do this in a country like India, which is a secular nation, which is a democratically elected leadership, and our constitution gives absolute right for everybody to practice their religion, irrespective of what faith they are. You can even start a new faith and practice it, I'm saying. It's not that the existing faiths, you can start any new faith and practice it. When this is the case, the majority population's places of worship or their temples are being managed by the government is a very shameful thing.
Our constitution says that there should be any discrimination in the name of religion. But then, is occupying Hindu temples not a discrimination? Leaving you all with this question. Use #TempleForDevotees if you agree with it, and comment your answer down below. And yes, hey, while we all are sleeping, we need to take action, we need to wake up. Wake up all Sanatanis, just wake up. And now at last, hope you are aware of the fact that is happening around us. Today it's happening in small level, somewhere in any state, in any district. But if we all Sanatanis will keep quiet, will keep silent, future is near when there will be no temples. All the temples will get vandalized if we don't take any action now. And at last, hope you loved the video and found it informative. And if yes, do not forget to share this with as many people as you can. And up to next, stay safe, healthy, happy, and namaskaram.